How's it going? Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media, covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. My voice is here. It's working.
It is.
But I'm going to be real cautious with it because, I don't want it to just – I don't think it's 100%. And all week it's just been like, oh, I feel good, and I'll start talking, and then I start coughing, looking like I'm about to die. So we're going to try to avoid that today. But got two guys that's going to help me through it pretty well. I got my co-host, Andre Casseday, which is joining me.
What's going on,
good
everybody?
Good to see you, man. Didn't
good
see you
to
last
see
week.
You back in person again,
Yes,
right?
Yes, and then I got Rashad, one half of Panther Nation podcast, joining me representing the Carolina Panthers and lots of knowledge.
Yeah, we're here, man.
We're here.
So we're going to go ahead and get into it, talking about this Dallas Cowboys versus, that's backwards actually, it's technically Carolina Panthers versus Dallas Cowboys.
Right. Hey,
but I got to say Dallas Cowboys first because we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. We got a camera that we're going to show some views of this scene, but I'm going to first tell you about, and actually I can feel my voice starting to get weak.
Out
so
already?
Tell them about
okay.
driving up and what the scene looked like.
Yeah, so I don't know if you saw it on your end, Rashad, but man, the fanfare is out there today, but for the wrong side. I mean, at least 80% of the people that I've seen up here in the streets of uptown Charlotte, Mid-Street, Moorhead, bunch of Cowboy fans up in this joint today, and that's a little scary. I mean, it's expected, but the amount of enthusiasm that we're seeing from the other side of the field already to begin, a little scary if you ask me.
Yeah, a little frustrating too. I got to be honest with you. As competitive as I am, I like coming to the stadium and being amongst Panther fans and cheering on my team, and it's just, and I get it. I mean, it's a hot ticket. You sell it, you make the money, and given the product that we've seen on the field, I don't blame anyone for selling their tickets to the opposing side. It's a business move, but I got to be honest, I don't feel comfortable here.
Comfortable?
I don't. This is not.
Comfortable as in like really safety comfortable?
No, not that.
I got you.
Always.
Right.
Well, I mean, I know you got your hands on it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't. I mean, Tepper, look at it. This is what it is. This is what happens when the product isn't good. So.
And not just this season, but for the past 6 seasons. This is the 6 seasons of ineptitude, and you can't even say the word mediocrity right now because, look, we just haven't been it since he's been here. And this is the result of it right here. I mean, the gates just opened about 5 minutes ago, but when we were setting up, we had a video posted on our Twitter page. I know you have one posted as well. It was shoulder to shoulder.
And I've come to these games. I've never seen the crowd built up, ready to go in the stadium like that.
Right.
It was all Cowboys fans.
Yeah, I'm going to ask Andre to pick up that camera.
Yeah, let's go.
And we're going to show you guys just this view.
It's ridiculous.
And I'm going to talk a little bit more about what we encountered when we were coming up. So once you get that thing pointed at the, you got to hold it steady there, sir.
I'll try to.
All right, there you go. It's pretty
sick. There's the stadium view right there. There is the east gate that we are right outside of right now.
So I'll let Andre just kind of keep the view on that for a second.
Yeah.
But when we were coming up to the game, it was the most traffic that I've had to. There's that voice.
There you go.
Fortunately, the camera isn't on me. That's a little sideways there, Andre.
I'm trying my best.
You're trying your best?
Here we go.
All right, but anyway.
There's some Panther fans right there.
That is. Coming here, the traffic was the worst it has ever been. I got stuck on 77 a little bit. Then once you get into downtown, there was some traffic. And then also, once we were coming up to, I wouldn't scroll that way. I just keep it right on the gate for the most part.
But not giving anybody any vertigo.
He's giving a little vertigo. But we might go to a different camera in a second. But right at this area that we're pointing at now, I actually might just go to the other camera because I feel like that might be a little better.
All right.
But when we were just right behind us here towards Rashad, there's amount of space. Actually, I'm going to try to, let's see if I can try to make it. We got a bunch of cords.
Right. So we're trying not to get all tangled up here.
Let's see.
Loop it through.
There we go. So we're working it out. We're working it out. I'm going to show you guys. There we go. This area over here.
A little more stable view, right?
Yeah. So normally when you come here and we're getting ready to set up, we can pretty much walk through the street, get right up to here. When we're coming up today, this whole street area was completely covered with Dallas Cowboys fans. And then somebody let out a, how's the chant go for the Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? That's how
I thought it
started.
was like it was a two-part chant. It's not a
They
two-part.
might have something else.
Who knows?
But he said something, and they responded with Cowboys, and it was just very, very loud.
Loud and obnoxious.
We will
You name it.
continue to show you some of that view.
Right.
But we're going to go ahead and get ready to start talking about this game today, what may happen. Something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while this week, and I'm going to start this first because I don't know how long my voice is going to last.
Right. Loop it through, right?
Yeah, we're gonna loop it through. There's a march on Mint Street today, but it was unfortunate for the Dallas Cowboys.
Absolutely. They must have got the word.
And you know what happened today too already is that fireworks went off,
That's a first.
and then they sounded like an alarm, like the evacuation alarm.
Right.
And they signaled everybody going in for the game. I've never, ever seen that.
Never seen that either.
And to me, all you did was just get the Dallas Cowboys fans excited to come in here and very quickly take over this stadium.
It's like we're pandering to them. I mean, I've never seen a setup like this. I mean, literally like where we set up a couple weeks back. It's a freaking Verizon Live little like
It's ridiculous.
home theater, living room setup. I'm like, so what's up with all the theatrics here? I get it. Dallas is like one of those teams that, hey, you get all the ratings for just because they're the Dallas Cowboys, right? But the fireworks, like you mentioned, all this stuff that's happening right now.
The Coca-Cola setup that's on the other side.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
It is utterly ridiculous. And Dave Tepper, if you have any responsibility with this whatsoever, you should be ashamed of yourself for it.
Oh, you know he does.
Him, Jerry Jones, whoever it may be. This is just straight up
And real quick,
ridiculous.
shout out to all the Cowboys fans that never been to Dallas or Arlington. You probably don't even know where the stadium is. But shout out to you guys.
All right, so something I'm going to get into, and we're definitely going to talk more about this Cowboys invasion that's going on. But again, I just want to get through something before my voice goes away. Lots of news that took place this weekend. By the way, thanks again to Andre.
Absolutely.
He's a part-timer. My voice is not going to hold up. The smoke, somebody's smoking near me too.
I can smell it too, man. It's a little bit
but
of a distraction.
Andre held me down as much as he could. One of the many things that happened this week was that I want to talk about, and I'm going to pick, is the signal calling change.
Right.
Going from Thomas Brown back to Frank Wright. And I'm pretty unhappy about it for me personally, because I can't give my opinion. It did signal for me that I have lost faith in this coaching staff to do what they need to do. I feel like we're definitely going down a slippery slope into very bad times. And here's my little spiel and soapbox about why. I like Thomas Brown.
Right.
When he, just his person, the way that he talks, the seemed like the command that he has, and I felt like he could get the job done. Now, with that being said, what I saw from Thomas during those 3 games wasn't everything that I wanted to see, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like the worst thing ever. This guy is his first time doing it. He's got the playbook that he's working with. And he still just has the same personnel that he had the first time as he tries to turn things around. But it's like, okay, we're struggling. But it's still like the same thing that had been going on. Coach Wright takes it back. Now, I think anytime you say, I'm going to do it, then Rashad's going to do it, then I come back to me. What about as a player? Like, we hadn't even talked about the players, right? How do you feel as a player to have confidence in what's going on within your leadership if your coach says, hey, this guy's going to do it, and then now I'm going to take it back? Well, to me, what does that say for your players and having confidence in your coaching staff for what they're trying to do to put you in the best position to win? Furthermore, we had a lot of problems with this team, right? And one of the reasons why did you take the play calling? I'm sorry, why did you give the play calling to Thomas in the first place? Well, Thomas can do a better job. It'll allow me to better manage the team. I could be with the offense. I could be with the defense. I could be a coach that has my hands on the whole process and get this thing together. That's what the reason was, right? And now you take it back. So we didn't fix everything. Like, there's still things going on. My voice is not there. With the whole team. So before, what do we have? We had substitutions. We had Terrace Marshall Jr. that was supposed to play, but he didn't play. And then Frank's like, oh, that's my bad. We have things that go on like, well, let's go recently with Chicago. Well, maybe we should have kicked that
57-yard field goal.
Thank you. That's why I have you guys here. Maybe I shouldn't have done that, right? I got to be better. And there's there's been other things that have happened. So it's like, to me, Frank, you needed to give away stuff so that you can continue to manage this team and all the other little microcosms that's making things bad. And now you're going to take it back. And to me, all those things that were happening, they're going to continue to happen because he's not managing the complete game. He's not managing the complete team as well. That was not near as passionate as I want to talk about it because my voice is going. But I'll let you guys touch on it and finish it up.
I have a question. So do you think the pressure coming from Tepper and the ownership, because that came out this week as well, right?
Right.
If we don't see any progress within the offense, then changes might be made. So do you think that the pressure coming down upon him obviously is making him take the play calling back to kind of say, hey, if it goes downhill, it's on me. I'll take the responsibility. So do you think that Tepper maybe is influencing this as well?
100%.
I feel like it influenced him, but I feel like the fact that he made this decision as a leadership is bad.
No, I agree.
It's bad because, number one, Thomas said he felt like like there's many ways that he could have done this, right? If it's a collaborative effort, then all he had to do is I can't talk like I want to talk. All he had to do was say, Thomas, I want you to call it like this.
Right.
Thomas, I want you to do that. And that honestly might have been something that was happening anyway because Thomas Brown said that he felt like this could happen. Mm-hmm. He wasn't shocked. And I feel like, he said it a little bit because it's the NFL, knowing anything can happen.
Right.
But when they're talking about it's such a collaborative effort, I feel like Thomas was still given some tight parameters on how he had to call it. And each week they come, all right, Frank says this and Thomas says this. And Thomas is like saying, oh, man, I don't feel like this guy's really can let this go. I don't feel like he's really allowing me to do what I want to do. But
I've heard that from Colts fans. I talked to a Colts podcaster, and they were actually surprised that he turned it over because of that, right? Because Frank Reich is very protective over his offense.
Right.
This is his baby. And like he said out of his own mouth, I've had quote unquote success. So he feels like he can do it. And so the Colts podcast, man, I'm surprised he even gave it up. So for me to see him take it back, it was much less surprising because of what I heard from the Colts podcasters.
Yeah, and then what's the long-term plan now, right? Because Frank, when he gave this up, he said, this was part of my plan all along. Right. I wanted to give this over to Thomas.
Do not believe at all still to this day.
Thomas is this young guy that you're trying to use his brain to master your offense. So when you take it back, are you ever going to give it back to Thomas? Is it, now in the offseason, are you going to say, Thomas, I'm going to give it to you? Or is Frank just going to continue to take over?
I don't know. I'm hoping that this team, and listen, this is going to be a tough game to do. The Cowboys defense is great.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't expect anything great out of this offense. But, this article came out earlier today talking about and this is what befuddles me. I'm just flabbergasted.
Right.
With now we're starting to talk about how, we need to go back and look at the Alabama tape to start to implement more.
In week 11.
Bro,
like, where was this at the beginning of the season, right?
Like, that gives me, with that point, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, this is why, I wanted to do what I wanted to do, right? Because it's really frustrating, right? And like you said earlier, we have yet to meet the mediocre bar.
Right.
We heard David Tepper say, man, I don't accept mediocrity.
Right.
Any business venture that I'm not going to accept long-term mediocrity.
Right.
It's been 6 years and we have not met the mediocre bar.
No.
And it's very frustrating. And I feel like us as a fan base, look at this. This is a statement. This is a testament to what can happen. And remember, I heard a couple people talking about this last year when the 49ers came through.
Right.
Very similar situation. And after that game, I'm not saying change is going to be made today. That's not what I'm saying. But, something's got to happen, man. And again, I have my own personal opinion that I don't think it matters who the head coach or GM is, as long as the top is the top and he doesn't change his ways, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
And two things. One is, going back to Frank making this decision
Sorry,
today.
I did kind of.
No, it's all right. It's all right because there's a lot of passion on this panel right now. Was he made that change that I feel. God,
hey, it's all good, man. It's all good.
Some water, man.
Drink some water, right?
It's like hard to talk softly about it when you got emotion about it. But him making this change, I feel like was bad. It was pressure probably from Tepper. He's just like, I want to get stuff right, but I feel like Frank already has too much on his plate. Continuing on with that bad decision of saying, all right, Thomas, you're not going to call plays. I am. what the heck is he going to be calling today, right? Is he going to continue to go in full out, I must save my butt mode and just start trying to do crazy stuff?
Stuff changes, yeah.
Or,
for sure.
I mean, I feel like it's going to be really, really bad and that he's going to have, like, what kind of play is that? Or the strategy of the whole scheme today is just going to be like, oh, now we're trying to just run the ball, and not get anywhere. I just feel like it's a recipe for a disaster.
And to add to a little bit of the optimism, because it's been a pretty pessimistic start to this show.
Yeah.
I mean, the one good thing that we have going for us right now is we have an extra like 2 or 3 days to prepare for this game, since we did play Thursday night. So I guess that extra 2 or 3 days could help. I don't know if it's going to make a difference, to be honest with you, but at least from that perspective, at least we had a little bit more time to try to figure out what we think
I don't have confidence in anything, man.
Right, but
the extra time, I don't feel like it helped anything. Because here's another thing: this coaching staff, which you gotta
and the timing
have to
of that
start
decision
with
too.
Frank Wright as your coach. But this coaching staff is an all-star group, and I really felt like at the beginning, you got too many passionate people. Like Deuce Staley was so much hype. You know, he's a big personality, number one. But it was like, Deuce is great. He has his energy. He has his passion. He loves these guys. You got Capers. You got Caldwell. You got all these guys. And I just felt like, man, there's no way that you're going to have these guys at a table and they go 0-2, 0-4, and everybody's in there being quiet.
Right.
Like, you can't tell me that nobody in there feels passionate enough to say, hey, we got to change. Like, I'm getting out of here. I don't want to be here. But Frank's at the top. So if Frank has all these excellent guys and what's happening
it's unbelievable.
Behind the table, behind closed doors, where either he's ignoring these guys and they're probably hating it. Like, I couldn't imagine, as passionate as you are, Rashad, if you're part of this and you're on my team and I'm not listening to you or not letting you, how would you be reacting?
Listen, I'm at least gonna start leaking some stuff. I'm at least gonna say, hey, this dude doesn't know what he's doing. I'll go, I'm gonna, like, you have to do something.
That's fair enough.
It's a great point in that, man. Listen, we got all these guys, and we were sold, man. I was sold, and I ate it all up, man. We were sold this. We got this great coaching staff and all this stuff, and
all this experience.
Great. And it's such a great point that, man, somebody's got to say something, man.
I just can't imagine Deuce just hearing something and just being like, all right, well, I'm just going to get my check, and I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that was part of the reason why that story was put out today by Jonathan Jones? Because, hey, there has to be some action behind some of these things that they're saying, and people are a little tight-lipped. Yeah. Surprisingly, I feel like, for a team that is 1-8, it could very well be 1-9 after today.
Which is why, again, go back, that's why I wanted to do what I wanted to do. Right, it's important that sometimes maybe these folks get caught up in their own day-to-day stuff. They don't see what's going on. But from a fan base, we are sick, and I feel confident enough in saying, speaking on behalf of Panther Nation, as a fan, because I'm a fan first. I got a podcast, but I'm a fan first. I'm here every home game, right? I'm a fan. We are frustrated. It's ridiculous that we have all of this talent on the coaching staff. Everything, you traded up, you did what you did to go get Bryce Young, and we still are one in whatever we're going to be. It's not cool.
Right.
It's not cool. And for us, again, I think this is a statement, right? Panther fans selling their tickets, I think that's part of it. But we have to send a message to David Tepper to let him know that this is unacceptable. And I feel like, it's not just going to be us, we're going to sit back. I feel like there's so many other teams that have done things via their fan bases to say, all right, we're tired of this. Something's got to change. And I feel like we've been too nice.
And that's part of the reason why that rally was organized.
Yep.
Because, hey, look, 6 years of nothing. We have nothing to show for the people who are in power right now. Right? And for the people who are in power, who are telling us to get out of our basement and get off of Twitter and show our faces, well, we're going to show our faces because we're not too thrilled about what's going on right now. And maybe you, my friend, our bald-headed friend, maybe you should get out of that suite and go and do something about what is going on with this team, which is a whole bunch of nothing.
I love it.
Get it together.
Did I miss something? You just ignited this guy?
No, my goodness, man.
And to your point with that march that you were trying to organize, or that you were organizing, the reason that it went like it went is because so many people feel like you feel
Exactly.
and that he feels.
Right.
So it didn't take much to start the fire.
Right.
It just took one person that to say, let's do this, and everybody like, yes, let's, because it's that bad. Let's try to get to a few other things, and we'll come back to some other.
Hey, to everybody who's leaving comments right now, we appreciate it. We're going to get to that point here in the show here rather soon, but we still got a couple more things we want to cover. But keep on leaving those comments down there. We'll get to y'all here in a bit. We love the dialogue out there. We're going to keep at it here.
Yeah, and as you see, I wanted to say at the beginning, but I forgot. As you can still see, yeah, my voice is still not there, and I'm struggling. It's been more than a week. It's probably been almost 2 weeks. And I really want to say thank you to all the fans and the subscribers, because we now have subscribers that help support this channel financially. Independent media, I take that very seriously. So it has been bothering me that I haven't been able to get on and give you the content that you're paying for. So I will, once the voice gets fully back, give you as much content as I can give you, because again, you guys support us, help things go, and just want to say thank you to all the members that have been patient as I have tried to get my voice back.
Like I said, we're always going to have your back, man. You're the man of the people, but hey, we're human. We're going to have our moments. That's why we're a family around here. We're always going to have your back no matter what.
I'm not going to cry, man. I'm not going to cry.
We may cry after today's game. But,
we had some transactions that took place this week. To me, none of them make sense. Nothing that we're doing right now makes sense. I'm just going to be honest with you. And I miss Wilkes. We're going to get back into that.
Right.
I miss Wilkes. Is this some Cowboys?
Yeah, they brought that new cheerleader.
Oh, man.
They bought the little girl cheerleader. Wow.
This is crazy.
Jeez.
Anyway, some transactions that took place. So I'm just going to put this out there and to preserve my voice, let you guys take it.
Okay.
We let go of Throckmorton on the offensive line.
Hey, they had to blame somebody. They had to blame somebody on that group, right?
Is it as shocking as, I forget our nose tackle at the very beginning of the season that we let go? What was his name?
Brevion Roy?
It wasn't him.
Roy?
Remember the nose tackle?
I forgot. I know what you're talking about.
But that was a little shocking, right? So anyway, we just got rid of one of our starting linemen. Now, to me, I don't even know where to start with this, right? If our offensive line has been bad, has needed help, why do you just get rid of anybody that's on there? Just take them completely out, and then you bring in somebody else. So they release him. They didn't like demote him and say, hey, you're not starting. Hey, we kicked him off the team.
Yeah, they kicked him to the curb. They said, goodbye, my friend. Go and have fun in Tennessee.
I think he's with New Orleans.
No, he's with Tennessee.
He went to Tennessee? All right.
Yeah.
So
So
he played for
rematch.
New Orleans, but he went to Tennessee.
Okay.
So a
okay.
homecoming of sorts next week.
And as a result, we have now moved
McCall.
Chandler Zavala over to left guard, who has struggled at that position. I'll let you guys talk about it, but
I mean,
I didn't like any of those moves because it doesn't make anything better. And you just put yourself into a position where you have a guy that some people in the media hate to talk about his size, but he is small. Like, he is what he is, right? Shouts out to Muggsy Bogues. Got to see Muggsy Bogues yesterday.
Oh, look at that.
It was funny. Somebody said, has anybody ever told you that you look like Muggsy Bogues? And you guys got to tell me if you find this hilarious. Now, how many people are 5'3" and look like Muggsy Bogues that's in Charlotte and probably not Muggsy Bogues, right?
I mean, it's pretty seldom. Let's just be real about it.
Like, if he was a 6-foot guy and there's a person that's got the same hairstyle, okay, you might say it. If he's 6'6", those are more common. But 5'3" in Charlotte, hey, has anybody ever told you you look like Muggsy Bogues? But anyway, help this make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm left more confused more than anything else, right? Because, look, I'm excited that we're going to give Chandler Zavala a chance to get back in there and make an impact and try to get him to grow during the last stretch of the season. But, yeah, I mean, it just left me very confused. And to be honest with you, do they really know what they're doing? Let's just be 100 about it. Because, I mean, you have Zavala, you have Cade Mays. So, like, if your intentions were to try to develop those two guys, then why'd you have Tor Morton in there in the first place? And then to make him the scapegoat, I mean, he's not the only guy that's played poorly on that group. I mean, we're going to give Ike Ekwonu some criticism. We're going to give, Bradley Bozeman some criticism, some much-deserved criticism. I mean, that whole line has been nothing but inconsistent this season. So just to place the blame on him is a little unfair, but ultimately it's a results-driven business, and he has not performed.
Yeah, I think, man, this is my conspiracy theorist, but I think that he probably requested to leave. Because if you think about it, man, he was the only guy on the line that hadn't given up a sack. Like, that's a fact. Like, he wasn't great.
I'm shocked by that fact.
He wasn't great.
Wow.
He wasn't
I did not
great.
know that.
He was not great. He was actually better at right guard than left guard.
Okay.
Right? But they moved him over to left, obviously, when Austin Corbett came back.
Yeah.
And so he was playing okay. And so for him to just get released like that,
just out of the blue.
Very flabbergasted. And I get it, Zavala, you want to see what you have. I completely understand that.
Right.
But there's a right and wrong way to do it. Zavala also played better at right guard as well, but obviously you're going to give that role back to Corbett when he gets healthy. But it's I don't know. It's mind-boggling. I have no clue what's going on. Every move, head scratching. I don't know.
And then Ian Thomas, another guy that they just activated off of injured reserve. So the return of Stone Hands, right, as people in our comments section have referred to him before. So is this the Ian Thomas revenge game that we're all looking for here? Are we going to see an Ian Thomas screen in today's game?
Ian Thomas screen?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Good for drawing those up. We've seen a couple of those. But I do think Ian Thomas is going to provide something in the run game. I do think he's a good blocker, so I think you may see the run fare a little bit better. But I got to be honest, like, our tight ends have been playing rather well. Hurst, I mean, not quite who we thought he would be here,
right.
But seeing Tommy Tremble develop, I mean, he's been playing okay. Like, I like what I saw to Tremble in recent weeks. But, Ian Thomas, I mean, he's not moving the needle, and I'm surprised we even extended it, to be honest with you. But yeah, expect improvements in the blocking up front.
All right, so we're going to get through. Have you been watching the comments?
I have, yes. And we did get a super chat.
We did get a super chat.
We did get a super chat.
Right.
So
let's go through one more thing I want to talk about, and then we're going to work the comments for the rest of the show. Frank Wright, how long does he last? You guys take deep breaths. All right, here's
So here's the thing, right? Because I've been doing a lot of research on the 49er situation with Jed York, right? You gotta look at this. Now, I know a lot of people are upset with Wright right now, and things aren't going well. But you also look at a guy like, and I'm not saying he is Kyle Shanahan by any means.
Right.
He's not. He's not the offensive mind Kyle Shanahan is. But Kyle Shanahan, his first season with the 49ers, went like 1-9 before he ripped off 6 straight wins to end the season. That's what has to happen here, right? He has to win some games. And listen, I think you got one of the most patient and giving fan bases in the league. Like, we are, I mean, it doesn't take much to please a Panthers fan.
Right.
It doesn't. Right? We don't even, I mean, listen, look at what we're doing here. It doesn't take much to please the Panthers fan. If you give us some wins and give us some progression, patience will come. Patience, we need to see progress. We'll give you patience when we see progress.
Do you know when Shanahan went to San Francisco, what had been his prior history as a head coach?
He didn't have any. So he was an offensive coordinator. He had just come off the season with the Super Bowl with the Falcons as an offensive coordinator. And then Jed York hired him along with John Lynch to be the GM.
Okay.
They came in together, right? And so he ripped off. He was like 1-9 starting. And then he ripped off 6 straight wins in the season. And then from there, they were the 49ers you now see.
Okay.
But Jed York, again, fan base, they riled against him. And I'm going to do a whole video breakdown because I think the parallels are very close. Because either Frank Reich's going to be a Kyle Shanahan or he's going to be a Chip Kelly. Right? Chip Kelly, 2-14, not good. They fired him after 1 year.
Yeah.
So that's what I think that, to answer your question directly, I do think that Frank Reich is in danger. If he does not, we have to see progression. I think Tepper wants to see some wins. And if we finish the season with 0 wins, or we go 2 and whatever, 3 and whatever, anything under 5, I think he's out of here.
So I like that perspective to give hope. I like that a lot. Do you have a personal, like, if you had to bet on one, though?
If I had to bet,
but I really do like that perspective to say we still could have some hope.
Yeah, no, and listen, I try to give the full picture. in my brain, I don't want to be doing. This is not me. I don't want to be like this. But unfortunately, this is
just
the
a
hand
fact.
we're dealt. Yeah,
it's just a fact.
He's just a product of this environment.
exactly. So, but yeah, what was your question again? My bad.
Your pick.
So my pick.
What does your gut tell you is going to happen?
My gut tell me he's going to get fired. And I feel like we're going to bring somebody else in. I really think they want Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson is the guy you want. I think this is the problem with this, though. I really think Tepper needs to change the way he's running the business up top. Not the business side. I mean the football side of it. Doing a great job the business side of it. He's doing fantastic.
Making money. He knows how to make money with marketing and deals.
They're doing some great things. The Charlotte
and
FC.
it looks like he's eating good, too. Yeah. So there's part of that equation of it, too.
Charlotte FC, all that stuff doing fantastic. Doing a great job with the business side. But the football side of it, he's got to change. And I think once you get the guy in here, you got to let him, just fade to the back. Let those guys handle their business. Because you hovering is not working. Like you're influencing things. You got to let it go. Okay? So I think the next guys are a set of guys. I do think that Scott Fitter's going to go with him.
Oh,
and I think that's the right move.
That's
the right move is a clean house. And we have not done. Tepper has not done that. As all those smart billionaires we got in here, these smart. Listen, I don't do this full time. I'm not a full time analyst, right?
You can't fool me.
Listen, they
be pumping out content like every day, especially if you're on Twitter.
But it doesn't take much. You bring in your GM and your coach at the same time and watch what happens. We have yet to do that. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that.
Right.
So I think they're both going to go, personally.
I'm with you on that one, man.
You think they're both going to go? Well, do you think he makes it? How long do you think he makes it? He makes it to the end of the season?
He'll make it to the end of the season.
Agreed.
I don't think it'd be smart to get rid of him after today, even if you have an embarrassing performance, because what does that do? As the inactives are popping up right now, we have a big one that
okay, I got to see what it is, because his face is pretty
I'll make
speechless.
my point quick, though. I do think if they show some progress, he may get retained for another year. But it all comes down to having the same group of people.
Yeah.
And, Fitterer was here before, right? But then you also have to look for the other perspective, too. If they do decide to fire Reich, how does that make Bryce Young feel?
Well, hey, let me ask you this. You said if he makes some progress, how much progress would you say?
I need them to...
Like we're 1-8 right now?
Yeah, we're 1-8 right now.
Our record is so bad that nobody kind of rattles off the record.
We don't even know how many L's we have. That's crazy.
I've heard many people talk about the record. They're like 1-8. It's that bad.
We only have one win. Okay, let's just get the facts straight, right? But I need to see a convincing win. If I could just see one convincing win, I'm happy. There's not a lot of things that make me happy right now in regards to this team.
But you said for them to retain him.
Yeah.
What would you feel like the final record needs to be?
The final record, I would say
4 wins and
at a bare minimum 5.
I think
5.
Yeah, I agree with that. It has to be 5 wins. I think what you've seen with Matt Rule, and as much as we don't like Matt Rule.
I mean, hey, he was 5 and 11.
He got 5. Yeah, he got 5 wins. So anything under 5 wins, I think he's out of here. And you've got to win like all these games.
Which is going to be a tough ask because, starting with today, Dallas, they're loaded offensively, and their defense, they're known for getting after the quarterback.
Yeah, it's going to be
so
really quick, though, too, because you made a great point about Bryce, right? And I can absolutely see Tepper saying, you know what, we don't, we've traded away our picks, and this is a 2-year thing. This is a 2-year thing. I'm going to give it 2 years. Mm-hmm. So I can see Tepper saying, it is what it is, bro. We can't make drastic changes right now because what GM and what coach are you going to get to come to Carolina with no draft picks and the cap is okay, but you got some big decisions to make with Burns. So there's some
Derek Brown, another one,
and then Louvu. There's some big decisions to make. So I can see David Tepper saying, you know what, it is what it is. Let me just 1 more year. Let's see what we can do. The fans are not going to be happy, but that's just what's going to happen.
But the patience level.
Could that potentially change if there's a coach that becomes available, you think? Or that's too many what ifs layers.
Too many what ifs. Yeah,
hypotheticals, man.
Yeah, too many hypotheticals. So my feeling is, man, I almost say I don't want him to make it a second season. I don't have much confidence. I really don't have much confidence. I know it puts us in a bad position to have to then go and find another coach, and then you're gonna, as a fan, you're going as a an organization still going the same thing. Like, all right, here we go again. Let's try to have a fresh attitude, fresh energy towards doing this, and let's be excited. But you still don't know what happens. I hate that if we do, because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if the guy's going to be good. You don't know if he's going to have a slow start. Then you're going to have patience with it, right? But even if we go that route of a new coach, I feel like you're probably going to still get something better than what you got with Frank in this start right here. And just be really, really use all those analytics, use all those people that you have to hire David Tepper, and do some really good vetting for that next coach. Because you should not have let Steve Wilks go. I will say this, you should have not let Steve Wilks go just because he wasn't as flashy as you thought as you wanted. But he would have been your guy that would have gave you some time to get another coach if you wanted to. You could let him continue to coach, it still would have been a better product on that field. And I feel like Wilks would have been a guy that once he got to more tools, once he got to weapons, he would have changed the offense. He would have changed how things work.
And he would have had the opportunity to choose his own offensive coordinator, too, because obviously he would not have rolled with Ben McAdoo McDonald, right? We're going to call him McAdoo McDonald because, I mean, good grief, just look at the guy. But at the end of the day, you roll with the guy that gives you the results. And what we have right now is a bunch of hype and a bunch of NFL experience, but what's the show for? And, when you keep Wilks, that gives you, again, that opportunity to say, hey, look, after a year, if we don't feel comfortable with him being the head guy, then you say, hey, we'll go ahead and go elsewhere. But the constant back and forth, the musical chairs at that spot, it's going to hurt Bryce Young, because here's what you need. You need stability around the team with Bryce Young, because he's getting none of that right now.
And I just think with the because you talked about the process earlier about these analytics, and listen, nobody loves analytics more than me, right? I love like PFF.
Dave Tepper.
He does. No, you're right. But I think that is a part of the problem, right? I think he's taking that the stock, the investment mindset, and trying to apply it to football, and it's not working. And that's where I think needs to change. The change needs to come to the top. He has to recognize that, hey, the process that I used to get Frank Reich, the process that I used to get Matt Rule is not working. I need to change. I need to get real football people here that know the game, that know the sport, that have been around the game for a long time, and they can help me drive this. And until that happens, it does not matter, because he's going to use the same process.
Yeah.
If you use the same process
over and over again,
then you're going to get the same result. It's a definition of insanity.
I mean, sometimes it could just come down to one thing, and it's just the simple eye test.
Yep.
Sometimes you could have a little bit of that mixed into what you're doing, and that could get you some results. But if you're just relying on one thought process and point of view, hey, it's going to get you as far as what you have right now, which is one win on the season.
I'm going to force myself to a short comment, and then we have to go into the inactives.
Right.
But could that be why so many people left this organization?
Yeah.
It's because he was stuck in his way. And with that analytics, I'm glad you brought that. We could have a 2-hour show easily right now, especially if my voice would hold up. But when you say the analytics part, I have a flashback to when Tepper had one of his rare moments of sitting down with the media. We actually got to go upstairs and sit at this huge table, and Tepper was like 2 or 3 people to my left. And I remember him passionately talking about, hey guys, the analytics show. And he just went down this analytics, I won't say rant, but just his belief in it. And at that time, that was also related to why Ron Rivera wasn't our head coach anymore, because he wanted a guy that would go with the analytics and the science and the numbers more than anything. And Matt Rule was certainly a newer guy that would go into that. Steve Wilks wasn't that kind of guy, I don't think. But yeah, he would have to change his process and vetting those people to get there.
Great idea now. Football over analytics. I'm going to make a shirt, and I think that might be the message we need to send at David Tepper. But yeah, it's a great idea. You're absolutely right. I think that's...
Make that an album cover with like a fat head on the T-shirt, too.
Yeah, I think we might have something.
There you go.
It's a great idea.
All right, let's get right into it. Our inactive list is out and ready to go. So let's get into it. C.J. Henderson, a guy that has not cleared concussion protocol. We knew about this. He's out for today's game alongside Ricky Lee, Nash Jensen, tight end Hayden Hurst. Terrace Marshall Jr. being the big one right there that caught the eyes of Rashad and I. And Marquise Haynes. So I'll read it one more time for everybody back there. C.J. Henderson, Ricky Lee, Nash Jensen, Hayden Hurst, Terrace Marshall Jr., Marquise Haynes are your 6 inactives before
I'm still
game.
a super quick comment because my voice is weak. I'll let you guys take over.
Okay.
But they finally asked this week. I say they because I haven't been able to. There's no point in me going to the press conference if my voice is like it is. We're like, hey, what's up with all the soft tissue injuries? Have you guys looked at it? And Frank's like, we looked into everything. Marquise Haynes came back to play against Chicago, and now he's back inactive. That's crazy. So many injuries, but I'll let you guys.
I think they probably rushed him to play because Burns was not playing that game. So I think they needed a pass rusher to try to probably rush him back a little bit too quick. Wasn't because that was a Thursday night game too. So I think he was just probably not. Because I think he answered a question. I saw an interview with him, and he said I'm about 70%. And that was on Monday, and the game was on Thursday. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was quite ready to come back. But the biggest one to me is Terrace Marshall. This is crazy. Right, this guy, I think it's obvious that he is in Frank Reich's doghouse.
Yes.
It's pretty apparent to me, and I understand his frustration. I like Terrace Marshall. I was happy when we drafted him, but it ain't working out for some reason. And I hate to even say it's him because our offense has been so anemic. I hate to even blame him as a player because you just don't know. With everything going on with this offense, you don't know if it's him as a talent issue.
I don't think
or
it's
if he's
him.
not being put in the right position to see. So I don't know.
Here's the thing, and that's what's so frustrating with this coaching staff and with the Matt Rule coaching staff. Like, we have players. We have the capability to use these players to their strengths. Terrace Marshall being one of those guys. I don't think he is a bust by any stretch of the imagination. He's just a product of the ineptitude and the incompetence that is with this coaching staff right now. This is his third year. You would have thought that they would have prioritized his production because, hey, it's your third year. This is typically when you have your spike in production, and this is when you start to figure it out in the NFL. And yet we cannot seem to put these players in position to be successful. It was the whole issue with Christian McCaffrey, right, last year. Oh, we use him too much. He gets hurt. The whole idea of, hey, if we use him too much, he's our whole offense. Like, these coaches, for whatever reason, do not know how to utilize, for one, the decoys and use them to our advantage. And then with our star guys on our offense, they get overused. There's no balance in what they're doing. And for Terrace Marshall to be out again today, it just blows because, again, this would have been another opportunity for him to showcase what he has. So you're probably going to see some more Mike Stryken, our 6'5", 220 guy who had a pretty big play in that Bears game. But it's frustrating, man.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
I think with Terrace, this is year 3, like you said. And year 3 is when you make that determination of whether a guy's going to be part of your team long term. And so we all knew when we drafted Jonathan Mingo that, and I know Dave, we're famous for this on our show. As soon as we drafted Jonathan Mingo, we knew the days for Terrace Marshall were numbered. Right, because you don't draft a guy in the second round, and when you've got another guy you just drafted in the second round 2 years ago.
Right. And he's the same play style.
And it's the same, they're the exact same player, essentially, right? And so you don't do that. And so we knew that was gonna be the case, and it's unfortunate because I do like Terrace Marshall, and it's unfortunate that, guess what? This is another guy that we can't get any compensation back for, right? Which just leads to the bigger picture of team building. He's going to let him walk. He's going to go somewhere else and probably be dominant, right? He's probably going to be great somewhere.
He could go to Cincinnati.
But he can go to Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. Right?
There's a relationship
where Jamar Chase and all those guys he's probably going to be pretty darn good. And we're going to be looking back at it like, oh, there's another guy we had on the team that's going to another squad and looking great. Add him to the list.
Hey, I'm going to get some predictions from you guys, and we'll try to work some of these comments. Andre has done terrible with monitoring these comments. We got like 200, and I haven't said nothing about any of them. But you guys
we
probably
got 10 minutes, man. We got 10 minutes.
You guys probably saw me laughing. I just want to put this one up on the screen here. We were talking about coaches and the turnover. So Mark Burke says, Tepper guarantees contracts. Anyone will come for 3 years of pay for 1 year of work.
Hey, I want to work for David Tepper.
Cash out.
Let's get our resumes, man.
We never.
Three of us.
I don't know what the number is for Matt Rule, but I'm sure he's still getting checks from
he had a 7-year deal.
Yeah, a 7-year deal. So who wouldn't come here to cash make a quick payday? Getting paid for 3 years and only working 1. I would do that too. But it's crazy. But that's when you have that kind of money.
Those
throw it
types
around,
of things
man.
happen.
Throw it around.
All right, so we missed a super chat here that I'm going to go ahead and put on the board. Ironically, it's from the guy who we just read a comment from. Mark Burke says, nobody is mad at you for being a human being. Just get better, bro. Thanks to all of y'all. Not really sure what all that comment's from. You guys recall?
Yeah, for your voice.
Yeah, so your voice.
No.
He's showing support.
Just get better. Oh, I thought he was like saying just get better. Like,
No.
be a better.
He's talking to you and saying,
that's why I
hey,
need
look,
these guys.
You a human being, you're going to be a human being, and we got your back.
Thanks.
He's got your
All of
back,
us.
too.
Thank you very much, Mark. Why don't you guys talk about predictions for today's game?
You want to go? Mine's going to be pretty bleak.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, same here, man. Yeah, I predict the Panthers will lose this. I believe the offense will look pretty bad. There's not going to be any drastic changes. It's going to be the same anemic offense we've seen. The Bluebirds will be out for Frank Reich, and I think it's going to be closer than people think. I think we probably cover. I think the spread's 11, right?
It was 10.
Yeah, it was
10 to 11 range.
Okay,
yeah.
see, I think we might cover. I think it'll be closer than people think. But yeah, I don't expect a W at all. Dallas Cowboys, they're firing on all cylinders right now, so I predict that they win.
I mean, they are in a whole different boat than what we are in right now. In Dallas, they are known for beating down on bad teams. I mean, they played New York last week, and that game was over in the second quarter. Yeah. And I have very, very confirmed fear. I feel like my fears are going to be confirmed today, that this game may be over by the second quarter, maybe even sooner.
And if it is, I'm going home.
We'll be comfortable in the press box, chomping down on some food, getting you guys covered.
Some food? Really?
There better be. There better be, but that's neither here nor there.
Last week, what was the last home game? Was it the
Colts game? It was the Colts game.
After the Colts game, me and this guy go to the press box.
Oh, no, this was before.
Was it?
It was pregame. No, it was pregame. We were getting back, going into the stadium.
Yeah, so before the game started.
Yeah.
Pregame. So before the game started, we get in there, sit our stuff down, and we get ready to eat. You want to tell them what we got to eat?
Nothing.
What?
Straight up nothing.
How so? Weren't we in the press box where they have food?
Hey, I mean, we were in there, 45 minutes before game time, and somebody ate all the pork.
Anyway,
but
just a little bit of mine about how things are run. Like,
back to my prediction.
How do you run out of food 45 minutes before a game starts?
I don't know, man, but nevertheless, I do think Carolina will fall today. There may be a chance that they could make some headway, but honestly, you're going to see more of the same. This offensive line has a tough test against this Dallas defense. They got some weapons on that side of the ball. Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, not Dexter Lawrence, among other people. But it could get ugly. I'm going to say we'll go 27-10. That's my prediction for today's game. Dallas will win by 17 and cover the betting lines for today's game.
By the way, as I go through the comments, there's a lot of good conversation out there about coaches.
Okay.
And the replacement that I would love to read, but don't have the time to go through.
Johnson.
It's a lot of people. But and there are also comments about J.C. Horn not being on the inactive list and being a game-time decision. I don't know what you guys are talking about. He has only been designated to return.
Right.
So, therefore, he needs another step before he could be on the list. So he's not on there because he's really not
and
yet on the roster.
And it's a 21-day window.
The 21-day window was activated. He hasn't been fully activated and added to the 53-man roster yet. So that's why he's not on the list. He's not playing today. We knew that a couple of days ago.
So, in regards to today's game, I think our defensive coordinator has been a genius, a little bit exaggerated, but he's been great. I felt like the dam was going to break on this defense a long time ago with all the injuries, and he's been holding it together. So I feel like today, I don't feel like we're going to win, but I feel like it's not going to be because of the defense. I feel like the defense is going to play pretty solid against this powerful Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb team. But I feel like what's going to happen is they're going to get a short field, whether that's because of turnovers or whether that's because of 3 and out, and the punt gets the ball to the 50. And that's how Dallas is going to win this game. It's because of the field position battle that they're going to be, not because our defense is just going to get ate up by Dak and CD and the rest of the company. So I don't have a score prediction, but I do feel like that's going to be the outcome of the game. What do we got? We got like 5 more minutes here.
Yeah, let's do some comments.
Let's see what I could talk about. A lot of people talking about Terrace being a disappointment. I don't feel like Terrace does need to go. I feel like he might just need a new start to have something good.
And again, it's not because of him. I think we can all agree. It's not because of him. It's just the situation that he is in right now is less than favorable, just to keep it in short.
All the players are in less than favorable situations. I think that's, and again, I want to be clear about the whole March thing. That's not it's not an indication on how we feel about the players. because we don't know what we have, right? I think, we could have some personnel issues. Of course, we acknowledge those, but I think there's better coaching could get more out of these guys. And I feel like, again, I just think it starts at the top until we get the right until the right mindset is utilized at the top. I just think we're going to be in this situation.
Hey, we were made to believe at the beginning of the season all we had to do was drop in our quarterback, and then, hey, the roster is built, ready to go. We won't be picking in the top 10 anymore.
Scott Fitterer said that.
Technically, we aren't going to be picking in the top 10 next season. So, I mean, he's got that part of the argument down. So, I mean, we'll give him credit for that. But, yeah.
Hey, way too many comments for me to start to go through those comments. So I'm just going to give you both freestyle moment of closing remarks. If anything you want to talk about this team, this game today, before we get out of here.
Yeah, I want to start with Frank Reich. I mean, he put a lot of attention and spotlight really on himself this week, whether it was on the behalf of himself or, people in the higher-up suite deals, right? I'm going to be focusing in on him today. I want to see how he reacts to the pressure, because what is his specialty? It's the offensive side of the ball, and it's been the one side of the ball this season for this team that has not gotten their act together, right? And we keep saying, this is part of the plan. My years of experience where we have started out slow in the past, we're able to turn it around and we're able to figure things out. Well, this is this point in the season now where we have an extended sample size, and we're at that point where you got to show us something. When is this turnaround going to happen? Does it start today? Does it start next week? Does it start next year, if there even is going to be a next year for you? Okay? You keep talking about this plan. You keep talking about, hey, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. I need to see it. We're in a results-driven league. The performance that you're putting on the field has been offensively bad. I need to see something out of you, man, because you're running out of that Just for Men hair dye. You're aging like Obama, my friend. So we need you to do something because, hey, it's rough for us.
You brought up a great point. I think one thing I'm going to be watching in this game, something you can't see on TV, is the body language of the guys on the sidelines. Right? How are they because one thing
I want to see a picture. Go ahead.
One thing I miss about this team is, man, we used to be so you had Luke out there. Just the energy. Frankie Louvu is probably the only guy that I've seen out there that really embodies that old Panthers. He's very energetic. But the body language of the guys, I want to keep it on. Are they frustrated? Because that's going to tell you. That's going to tell you really how things are going on internally. And you can't see it on TV.
Right.
But I'm going to be watching it. Frank Reich, what is he doing? How is he? Because, again, now that he has the play calling duties back, he can't manage the game like he used to. So are we going to get back to the play clock going down to 0 before we get the plays out? Are we going to go back to some of the mistakes that we made? But so that's what I'm going to be watching. And also I'm going to be watching Bryce Young.
This was last week.
Exactly.
In Chicago.
Body language.
You talk about body. This is Jonathan Mingo sitting on the bench last week after the Chicago game. So you're right about that, and it's super quick. My voice was about to go because I was about to get into it. At least Frank Reich just showed me some different right? Some different personality,
a different aura, if you will.
It gets so. I think it's hard as fans, especially hard as guys like Rashad that's really passionate about it and a fan perspective, where you see Frank come up there and he's like, well, blah, blah, blah. He's really monotone. And then Bryce comes up there and Bryce's like, wow. It's like you have a boring coach and a boring quarterback, and it just kind of everybody just get out of here, man. Just give somebody at least come here with some, hit the mic as you're talking and just be emphatically.
Somebody needs to come in here and flip a table or something.
Right.
There's no, it's like nobody cares. Only people that cares to me, and this is public perspective, is the fans. We're the only ones that really care about what's going on. Somebody's got to say something. The frustration has to be an all-time high. And I get it. You don't want to alienate your teammates, and you don't want to alienate your coaches, and you got Frank Reich trying to cover for people, taking responsibility. I get all that, but man, come on.
You're 1-8, right? And I feel just from how I see it, just from an outsider's perspective looking in, I don't feel like anybody's offended that they're 1-8.
Right.
That should be a red flag anywhere and everywhere that you see all across the board on this team. We just want to see people who give a dang, right? I want to keep it PG-13. I wanted to say something else, but I was pretty close to saying it.
I have my wife call me the Andre curse.
I don't want your kids learning after Andre Casseday here with his lack of, concise and professional words coming out of his mouth. But just show us that you care, man. I mean, we get it. It's weighing on you. These losses definitely take a lot of energy out of you. But come on, you got to show us something. And I feel like this is something we've been asking for this entire season. Just show us something. Miles Sanders needs to be out of this game. Miles Sanders needs to be off of this team. I mean, it's ridiculous that we gave that guy that contract, and Deontay Foreman, making less than him, is in Chicago. That's offensively bad GMing
It is.
there for you.
Anything else from you, Rashad?
I'm good, man. I'm going to be in this game watching, frustrated. The crowd's going to be going nuts for the Cowboys. Are we in Dallas or Arlington, or are we in Charlotte? I can't tell.
I mean,
there's Dallas, North Carolina.
Yeah, I was just about to say
Dallas,
Dallas, North Carolina, and a Newton,
Dallas.
North Carolina as well.
Absolutely. But, yeah, I'm going to be in there frustrated. If it goes all bad by halftime, I'm probably going home. But it is what it is, man.
Right.
Hey, we're going to go ahead and end it there. Hey, thank you guys for putting up with my voice. Hopefully it'll hold up for the post-game show. Rashad is gracious enough to come on our show each home game prior to it. Know he has a lot going on, so Rashad, I always appreciate you coming on.
Anytime.
Links are in the description to follow. Go ahead,
To follow his content, Panther Nation. Hey, he's your guy for all Panthers-related content. And hey, he's just as passionate as we are here at Charlotte Vibe, and we're glad to have you on every single week.
Yep, anytime.
So for everybody out there who is tuned in today, thanks for hopping on. I got you covered on Instagram and Twitter. Chris Jenkins, the man of the people, will be up there in the press box as well, interacting with all of you. So for everybody out there, be on the lookout for that. And try to enjoy this game today. But for everybody out here for Charlotte Vibe, have a good one.